All right, welcome everyone to the first episode of the draft. I am pumped for the 2025 NASCAR season. We've got Phil Eastman, Tino Patino with us here. They'll be here all year for the draft. Guys, how's it going? Phil, I'll start with you. How's your off season going? You having fun with the family? Just kicking it? I know the Eagles are in the playoffs, so that's good for you. How's everything?
Yeah, man, things have been going great. I like to shut it down in the off season, so I've been doing just that, and have had a really great off season. Just turning the brain off kind of deal. A lot of sports, a lot of fun. Obviously, you mentioned the Eagles. Yeah, it's taken up a lot of our energy around here. So, but I am now slowly getting back into things, and this is the perfect way to get our feet wet here, mid January, about a month away. Very excited. So yeah, happy to be here with you guys, and I'm glad to get this going.
Awesome. And Tino, how about you? Good off season here. I know you guys got a lot of things kicking around. I think you told me like how many followers you had on TikTok the other day. That kind of blew my mind as a 40-year-old man. But what's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. It's great to be drafting here with you guys tonight. We've been in contact. And it's been great staying in touch with you guys. But now I'm feeling great. I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling locked in. Off season's going well. Got a lot of content I've been producing. A lot of things that I'm excited to share throughout 2025 in this NASCAR season. I'm still working on some stuff. Still finishing editing up some projects. But overall, I'm super excited. I know last year, in terms of everything we produced together, was an awesome time, and I'm ready to beat you guys in the draft this season as well.
Awesome, man. I'm excited. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in live. This will also come out as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. Probably tomorrow, maybe later tonight. So the way this is going to work tonight is going to be a season-long snake draft. We had our own little bets going on with college football that decided our draft order. Tino wins that, gets the first pick of the draft. Phil's going second, and I'll take the turn drafting third here tonight. So this will be a snake draft. You can only draft one, draft one driver. Just keeps going. We're going to do 12 picks. The total scoring will be NASCAR official points, whatever they post to, NASCAR media or Bob Pockgrass tweets out as official after the race. Those points are going to count for each driver, and we'll just keep a tally for the full season. The winner will get to select a diecast that he wants from each loser. So the winner will receive 2 diecasts of his choice. And this show is going to be a little different than our weekly shows, where our weekly shows is going to be for each specific race. And what we'll do then is whoever wins will get to pick a charity that win the race will donate to. And in that, it's a little different than a snake draft. You can pick the same drivers in that one. So I'm sure we'll have different rosters. We'll talk about it. Tonight and in the weekly episodes, we can talk about any bets we might have as we go through the teams or through the rounds or anything like that. I know I already got some Daytona 500 bets out there. I've got a season-long bet out there. So as these guys come up, we can mention those tonight and throughout the episodes that we do. You guys have anything to add? Did I cover everything?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, the betting aspect of it, I think that's what we're all used to, and I think it's going to be a great blend of this fantasy element to it, but calling out a bunch of different drivers each week and throwing in bets, when names come up and teams come up. So I think this is going to be a really good experiment here, really good show throughout the year, and hopefully a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think
along with
the one
that,
great thing.
oh yeah. No, I was just
Oh,
gonna say
sorry,
I'm
Tino. I was
hyped
just say.
to make
Go
it
ahead.
such a unique show with you guys too. Like I haven't seen anyone do anything like this in terms of drafting and stuff like that, and being able to keep track of our season-long picks. I think that's going to be really cool, and being able to talk about the betting aspect of it. Right, that's how we all three got together. We all have our own shows on the side as well, or things that we've produced content-wise. So to put it all together now in a new form of type of content, I think is going to be really special.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's why I like this. Is I didn't want it to be like necessarily a betting show or a DFS show or something like that, where it's just like one thing. There's really no wrong answer here. As we give our picks, it could just be a total gut feel, whatever you got. You're just feeling a guy a certain week. No wrong answers. Should be a lot of fun. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Don't want this to be too long of an episode, but it'll be nice to talk about some NASCAR finally, and then it'll feel like a tease because we got almost a month before Daytona's here again. But at least we got the Clash kind of in between that. Super Bowl will help hold us over. And if your Eagles keep going, it's going to be a great offseason for Phil here. So let's kick it off. Tino, in the first pick ever of the draft, season long, who you going with and why?
So for my first overall pick in the draft, this one may be a little groundbreaking. I know everyone on Twitter beforehand and X was getting into it, deciding and trying to picture who I was going to pick in this one. I feel like the answer may be pretty obvious. It's going to have to be Kyle Larson for the first overall pick. To me, the reason was, if this is a point system and we're going from the first race of the year all the way to the last one, last year he had the most amount of wins. I feel like that's going to play a big factor into this season as well. I think he has the best possible chance to continue to have the highest amount of wins. The one thing that does scare me is his aggressiveness. If he wrecks out of races, you're losing out of points there in that scenario, but it's got to be Kyle Larson for me in this one.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I mean, I think that's what everyone's guess was. I think I saw a couple comments on there that said it's got to be Larson. So, yeah, can't blame you there. Phil, with the second pick in the draft, who you got?
Well, let me just quick comment. I won't do this every single time, but quick comment. We have an opportunity at Charlotte, possibly for Tino to score 0 points with his number 1 overall pick, just like last year. But we'll see what happens this year. Hopefully, weather allows him to do both. But yeah, great pick, best driver in the world. You got to go with him. I have a bit of a strategy that I'm going to try to stick to throughout the show to try to keep my mental stability here through this whole thing. And I am taking, with the number 2 pick, the number 20 car, Christopher Bell. It just feels like he's right on the cusp. And most top 10s last year of 23 top 10s and 15 top 5s. Like, it's an astronomical number for top 5s. He's right there with Kyle Larson. He's just right there. I think most of the folks that are following this on a betting week to week standpoint, Bell is kind of a favorite amongst a lot of us. So I can't go wrong with Christopher Bell. I think he's going to be a points machine this year.
Yeah, that was my so earlier this week I had put out my projections, power rankings, everything. I had Christopher Bell at 1. I was hoping you were going a different route there so I could sneak a Christopher Bell pick in at 3 here, but no such luck. So I'll take I guess who I rank kind of smack dab in between your 2 picks, and that's Ryan Blaney. I just think, the schedule plays in his favor. Everyone knows that. So we get to the end, it's like, man, Penske just keeps winning these championships in the Gen 7 car. But they don't really change anything. So there's no reason to think like, maybe he can get off to a little better start. He was just so hot to end the year. Just came on really strong. It's kind of what we all expected throughout the season. I think next year, he could just be strong start to finish. So, or I guess this year we should say 2025. So give me Ryan Blaney here. There's not much else we really need to say about that pick. And then, we're talking about earning these points here. So I think I'm going to go with something just like a model of consistency. I think he's good most places, solid team. We're just going to stick with William Byron here would be my next pick. So I'll go Ryan Blaney, William Byron back to back here. Not much else to say here too. I mean, everyone knows William Byron's super consistent, earning the points. That's what we're trying to earn here. They can go deep into the playoffs as well. So, maybe another championship 4 run for Byron here. So yeah, give me him to start out round 2. Phil, you are on the clock.
Yeah, you took taking Bell second. I was setting myself up. I knew I was going to be happy with whoever I got left over between these 3 guys. You took to him. I was hoping to be able to brand my team the Killer Bees, but that's not going to happen. I'm taking Tyler Reddick, Toyota heavy early. Didn't expect this, but Tyler Reddick, another one, younger driver, again, right on the cusp. I could see both these guys right back in the championship 4. So very happy to have Bell and Reddick in my first 2 picks.
Awesome. Tino, you're up. Round 2, you go back to back here.
All right. So you guys got me thinking here because it seems, consistent guys that won a lot last year, but the driver that's left on the board right now had the best average finishing position all of last year. You're close with Bell, Larson, Byron, Reddick. All those guys were in the top 5. But number 1, the fan favorite himself, Chase Elliott. I'll take him right now just because I'm thinking about him. The best average finish out of all drivers in 2024. That's something that consistency is what I want to see. He doesn't dominate races as much as he used to, but if he's continuing to sort of get back to that form, I think that could play a factor. And now, Phil, one thing that you got on my mind is that you're trying to collect all the Toyotas. I think that's your strategy here. I think that might be it.
Accidentally.
So I'm up again here, and now I'm in a tricky spot because I'm trying to be prepared in terms of who I want to take next. There is Denny Hamlin still on the board. There's a couple underdog guys that I don't want you guys to take, but because of the fact that he's been so strong all throughout these last few years, I'm going to have to go Denny with my third pick here. But there's a couple underdog drivers that I can't wait for us to get up to because it may surprise you guys who I'm thinking of with my next pick.
All right, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear it. I thought Denny, that's kind of late for Denny right there. I think just the little sour on his late season woes last year, but maybe he comes in fully focused again and just starts ripping it up. It would be awesome to see Denny finally, win a championship. I root for it. I know there's some people out there that can't stand Denny, but I think he's great for the sport, and I'll be rooting for it. So let's get on to the second pick of the third round. Phil, you are on the clock.
I sure am. Man. All right. So this is where it gets interesting because I think a lot of the big names or the obvious choices are kind of off the board. And I think this is where if you've got a list, Ryan, if you've got a list, Tino, that you're kind of working off of, we could probably differ a little bit. So I feel kind of up against it here.
You're right, though. These rounds coming up here are going to make or break us.
100%. So I'm going to stick to my initial game plan, and I'm going to go with, even though I don't necessarily like it, in the third round. I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski. Top 5, he was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in top 5s last year. And that's kind of right where we're at right now in the draft order. And I think we saw a lot of like building blocks going his way last year. Obviously, he got the monkey off his back with the dub. So, got that going. They're expanding to 3 cars. I think that could help them or help him, with more teammates out there, more notes to pull from. So we'll see if the old Brad Keselowski can take another step forward in the 6 car. So mark him down round 3.
Love that. That was not one that I would have taken there. So I love where this is going. Love the explanation too. Tino, last pick of round. Oh no, that's me. Oh, here we go. All right. So this one might surprise some people too. Because I'm generally rooting against this driver. Well, I was last year because I had him to not ever win a race. This year, I've only bet on him to not win 2 races. So he can win. That's cool. But with my third pick, I'm going to take Ty Gibbs. And I think it's the same thing. Just, second year here, a little more experience under his belt. While I did bet him to not win 2 races, and I'm pretty confident in that bet, he could sneak one in there. And beyond that, I think you could see some more consistent good finishes from him this year. He started out really hot last year and kind of faded as the year went on. Maybe that was just kind of a, just a long rookie season type thing. But we saw that even with like Denny and Truex, JGR, pretty much everyone but Bell and JGR just kind of faded as the year went on. I don't see that happening this year. A lot less going on. I just think, second year too, give me Ty Gibbs here. I'm going to back that pick up with another driver that I think is super consistent and was kind of flying under the radar last year. I know Tino used to talk about him a lot on the NASCAR betting preview show and how consistent his finishes were, but I'm going to take Alex Bowman with the next pick. So we'll go Ty Gibbs and Alex Bowman. I think, again, it's just, for the game we're playing, looking for that consistency, and I think both these guys can bring it. So give me Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman. Phil, you are on the clock.
Well, I was going to go with Bowman there. I wanted some Chevy, in my portfolio here. He was going to be who I went with. Kind of surprised that you went with Bowman. I know our guy Elliot Hicks, who does the back road with Seth. He's a big Bowman fan, so I was going to make him happy, but disappointed I didn't get Bowman there. Well, I feel like I'm in a bit of a pickle here. I am going to still let a guy slip, and I'm going to take a shot on someone. I guess I'm going back to the Toyota group, which I don't like, boys.
Oh, no.
I like to diversify.
I feel like you're about to steal my pick.
Oh, no. I hope so.
Well, let's see.
He is.
You think I am?
I think you are.
Is he taking over somebody else's ride, a past champion's ride? Okay. Yeah, we're going with Chase Briscoe here.
Awesome.
I'm very optimistic for what Chase Briscoe is going to bring to the table. I mean, we saw what he did at the end of last season in that 14, and now moving to JGR. It just feels like, do you remember when Chase was like in his final year in Xfinity, he won 1 million races, and it's like, how is this guy not going to be successful in Cup? Well, here we are. This is the right spot for someone. And a lot of times guys fizzle out before they get to a spot like this. He really fell, like a Plinko chip in the right direction. So I'm trying to pull up what his win total is right now. It's 1.5 over. Like I know he's got a lot to prove, and I know the 19 was dog shit. But this coming up, I feel like Chase is going to bring some energy to it that Martin might not have had at the end of last year. I know we got burned by Martin a bunch, and Big Ross in the chat, he's rooting against the 19. He was our guy, every week, MTJ guy, but I'm gonna maybe even sprinkle a plus 120 over 1.5 on Chase. I'll have to see how that turns out for my season podcast, but we're gonna put Chase in there for my team right now. What round is this?
I love that. That's, as soon as Tino said that, I was like, "Oh, I knew it." I was hoping.
Yeah, I hate that pick. I hate that pick. I was alluding to it earlier. I had his name starred. I am so high on Chase Briscoe this season. I think he's going to come in there. Hey, I'm saying it right now. This is sort of an early prediction show as well, right? We're drafting. It's preseason, if you will. I think he could be a championship contender. That's a lot. But I really believe it. With what he was able to do at SHR last year and win a race to now be in top tier equipment, that's something that driver has never had. In the Xfinity Series, sure. And we saw him win millions of races, like Phil was saying. Oh, man, great pick by Phil. That was I was one spot away from taking him there, and
Dude,
now I have to think.
I was so tempted to troll Phil and go with the Killer Bees and just go Blaney, Byron, Bowman, Briscoe. So tempted. I don't know. And you know what? Like, I bet against Ty Gibbs too. Like, I'm gonna regret that pick this year. I hope I don't, but we'll see. All right, so Tino, you are on the clock now. Sorry, your pick got stolen. Now you have 2 in a row. So let's make them count. This will be the last pick of round 4, first pick of round 5.
That helps me to feel better. And I think I'm in a difficult spot now because that was one driver like I was definitely had my eye on. So it puts me in a difficult spot, but one that may reward me in the end because this driver he wasn't originally on my board. We were taking a look at him and the other drivers out there, but I'm going with Trackhouse, and that's going to be Ross Chastain. I'm looking at him over here, 9th last season in the total average finish in 2024. But another thing that stands out to me was he had an off year, it seemed like. They didn't bring that much energy that they've had in years past. So to me, I think they're going to be looking for revenge. He did get 1 win at Kansas, so that was good to see, right? But I think Ross brings it, and he's been a consistent driver. That's what I'm looking for, consistency out of these guys. And I have a lot of Chevys as well with Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain. And for my next pick, this one's going to be crazy. And I honestly wouldn't have it any other way because when you take a look at the schedule, I see 6 road course races if we're counting, the street course. We're going to Mexico City. You got to have a driver that is world class, that has a lot of experience in that field. Give me SVG in, what is this, round 5, round 6? Early off the board, I would say, but I'm looking forward to Trackhouse guys for Tino.
Wow. Now that one shocked me. I did not see SVG going that early. But I get it, like that's kind of funny. You go 2 Trackhouse guys because, like, I think Ross went where he went here because people are kind of down on him a little bit. Like, you don't know if they're gonna just give a little more juice to SVG now, and maybe he shuffles to like the second best car, and who knows? I don't know. But man, this is why this is fun making picks like that. So great job, Phil. You're on the clock. Round 5. Let's go.
Yeah, the post game show, with Big Ross and Brian Twining could have they might be critiquing that pick. You might have been able to get that later in the day, but I mean his over under this year is 1.5. Like, I don't know. That's maybe a conversation for a different day. I was staring at his under 1.5 because he was in 12 races last year. 12 races. That's way more than I thought. And he had nothing to show for it. So I know that he won Chicago, but that's all. Like,
almost
2
won at
wins?
Watkins Glen. Almost. Won at Watkins Glen.
But where did he finish? 7th? Where did he end up? Or did he finish 2nd?
Pretty sure he was second.
Yeah,
those guys
second.
were
okay. He was
dusting
7th
everybody.
I'm pulling him up right now. It just, yeah, sorry, 7th at Charlotte Roval. Yeah, 2nd at Watkins Glen. Almost is for horseshoes and hand grenades. So, that's where I stand with him. I think you could have got him later, but I'm actually kind of thrilled here. What round is this? 5? Round 3.
Yeah.
I almost took the current champion, Joey Logano. It's an odd year, so obviously, consider that for what it's worth. He's not going to be in the championship 4, but let's throw superstitions and stuff like that out the window and say, 5th round, you get Joey Logano, Team Penske. Maybe that momentum takes him into a good point season, then kind of get things back to normal because he wasn't himself all last year. And then at the end of the year, you look up, he's got 4 wins. Very strange. But if he just goes back to more of a normal season for the 22 team, I'll be thrilled to have him in the 5th round. So I'll take Joey Logano. Still
that's a great
Chevy.
Great pick, great explanation. It's like just because it's not the year, an even year when he wins the championship, he could still be much improved from where he was to start last year. I mean, I mentioned like Blaney's slow start. I mean, Logano was dreadful for a large part of the season. Ends up getting a couple lucky-ish wins, and then all of a sudden turns it on. And even when he turned it on, like it wasn't like he was dominant at the end of the year. It's just like you knew you couldn't let him get to Phoenix, and that guy got to Phoenix. And I mean, what an unreal run too to win that championship. That was such an awesome race. Ending, I'll say. A lot of people give Phoenix a lot of crap, but I thought it was enjoyable. So, all right, let's go. Let's see. I got to do last pick of round 5 and then enter into round 6 here. What do I got? I got a Ford, a Chevy, a Toyota, and a Chevy. I'm going to go back to Ford here, and we'll take Chris Buescher. Buescher is one. Now, I give him a lot of crap too because I play a lot of, DFS and things like that. He qualifies poorly. He doesn't really show much in practice. You don't think he's got a lot of speed, and maybe he doesn't throughout a lot of races, but man, can this guy find finishes? Like whether it's through strategy or if you want to call it luck, lucky strategy, even combining the two, whatever it is, this guy can get faster throughout a race and figure it out and get those finishes. So, in round 5 here, when we're trying to get someone who's consistent, can finish anywhere, he wins drafting races, he wins road courses, he's won steep short tracks. The guy's kind of done it all. So give me Chris Buescher here. I think that's pretty late for him too, round 5. So I'm pretty thrilled with that pick. And let me just mark him down as mine. Sorry, guys, too, if I'm not keeping up with the change it to round 6 here. I'm juggling all the draft picks, trying to go through the rounds and then look through everything here as well. Man, for my next pick, there's a guy that I have rated as the person I should take here, but I just can't roster him and Ty Gibbs on the same team. It would just annoy me. Um, I am going to take Carson Hocevar with
Wow.
my next pick here. So, I mean, if you look what's left on the board, it's not like slim pickings per se, but it's not great either. And this is someone I thought, Spire showed some speed toward the end of last year, at least more speed than they have had. And he started qualifying decent and getting some decent finishes. So, what do we have? What do we got? 16 drivers off the board now, or he's the 16th. I think that's kind of right where he was running toward the end of the year a lot of the time. So, yeah, give me Carson Hocevar here. There are some places I definitely would like to avoid him, but in a setup like this, give me him, and I think he might surprise some people with how consistent he can be this year.
I like it. I like it.
Surprising.
So yeah, Phil, you're on the clock here then, round 6.
Round 6. Big Ross was asking if we think Ford struggles early last year with just adjusting to the new body. I mean, I feel like that is a better explanation than anything else that would be, because they kind of came on strong. Obviously, they won the championship. Like, that could be the case, and they're basically saying, all right, everybody's starting with a little bit more of a head start than they were last year, so they should be in a good spot. So no fear taking Fords in our draft. I'm finally going to get a Chevy driver, and I'm nervous because I don't want to be that guy, but like, I'm kind of like, did I miss a guy here? I'm taking Kyle Busch. He didn't get taken, right? Like, we're taking Carson Hocevar before Kyle Busch now.
He's there. I mean, if you look at like how last year went, I think pretty consistently we probably would have bet Hocevar over Kyle Busch 10 that season.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm looking at a season right now. He had a stretch of 12th at Richmond, 4th at Michigan, 2nd at Daytona, 2nd at Darlington, 7th in Atlanta, and then things kind of fell apart. So, excuse me, 13th in Vegas, though, in the playoffs. Like, that RCR team, growing pains, yes. I think Kyle Busch is going to be in a better spot this year. At least I would hope so. For RCR's health, I hope that the 8 car is better. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have Kyle in the 6th round.
Once again, Phil steals my pick that I was going to take right after his. No, I thought the same thing. And honestly, I love my team thus far. I'm 10 toes down on my SVG pick in round 4, but it definitely was questionable after I saw Chris Buescher left on the board, Kyle Busch as well. But like I said, I'm backing my guys. And Kyle Busch, like you said, Phil, that was another driver that I was like, I couldn't believe with his caliber and the year he had last year was just bad. It was an all-time bad year, but he's going to get back to victory lane here at least once, I think, this season, just for the fact that he is Kyle Busch. If he can continue to bring that organization up as a whole, or at least try to, I think then we have something cooking. But with this pick here, it's not going to be Kyle Busch for me, but it is going to be a driver that had a really strong, consistent finishing. He was 11th in terms of the average finishing position in 2024. I feel like we were a little bit scared to mention him or pick him just because of how his season maybe went as a whole in terms of missing the playoffs. But for me, the playoffs proved he can be consistent every race and finish inside the top 10. That's Bubba Wallace. I'm going to pick him here. I think he's a consistent driver. And honestly, I can see him getting to victory lane. I don't know if it will happen this year, but I think with how his year finished momentum-wise last year, he's poised for a strong run.
Bubba is minus 105 to win a race. Like, that's pretty damn good. Caesars has him 0.05 as his line. So, and the under is the favorite at minus 125. So that's one that I would say, he was flirting last year, 6 top 10s, 6 top 5s, 14 top 10s. 2311's no slouch, and I like to pick. Bubba was going to be who I took if you let him slip.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Bubba was one that we had bet last year. It was him and Ty Gibbs to not win a race. That came home. I didn't think it was ever really a sweat for either one of them. I'm not sure what I think of Bubba this year. I think that picking him right here makes a lot of sense. I was close to doing it. I just didn't want to take Ty Gibbs and him because I'm kind of
Mhm.
like I don't like hater for those two, but I just don't think I don't think they have a lot of win equity like people do. So I think that's why I stayed away and didn't want both of them on my team here. But yeah, I mean, I think as far as where we're at the last pick of round 6 here, I mean that's a great pick right now.
Sweet.
I
Is
think
it
Tino,
me
you're
back to
up,
Tino
back
man.
going
now
again.
too? Yeah,
Yeah, back to back, round 7. Let's go.
all right, back to back. This puts me in a better spot. Although last time I was back to back, I made some questionable choices. This time around, I'm looking at a lot of guys that I'll mention. Like I feel like are a new, same original face or familiar face, but in a different place, right? We're looking at like I don't know. We got Josh Berry in the 21, Justin Haley back to the 7, like gritty guys, Michael McDowell in the 71, Noah Gregson in the 4, like all those guys that have been. This is where I feel like could make or break us in terms of points, right? If you pick a guy that crashes out every week, like we saw Harrison Burton last year, it seemed like that was him. Austin Dillon, another one that had a bad year. To me, I got to go with the best guys and the best equipment. That's Austin Cindric in the 2 car. Team Penske, I feel like, is the best team I'm seeing on the board here. Maybe you got Suarez and Trackhouse, but it's got to be Cindric just based off of the guys that are around him, I feel like.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was the one. He's next ranked for me in the power ranks as far as who we've taken so far. So I got to agree with that pick. Phil, you are on the clock then, round 7.
Tino made my pick easy for me. It was to me, it was between him and the guy I'm going to take, which is Daniel Suarez. Um, Daniel Suarez kind of lost in the sauce right now with SVG coming in. Everyone's waiting for Ross to kind of come back and be Chastain of a couple years ago, and here we are. Suarez, I mean, he had better numbers than very razor thin better, but better than Cindric last year. Both had a win, 4 top 5s, and he's got 2 more top 10s, better average finish. So I'm happy with Suarez. I'm not necessarily a Suarez fan, but you know, at this late in the game, he's definitely better. I like the track house element. I like the fact that they're probably just going to focus so hard on road courses. And then I basically have a fucking lock when they go to Mexico City. Like he's going to win that race, right? Like
Yeah.
if sports are rigged, he's winning that race. So I'll take Suarez with an automatic dub.
Awesome. Great reasoning. All right, I'll close out round 7 here. Now it's starting to get tough. I got to pick 2 of these guys in a row, and it's like not much conviction here at all. So you said same drivers or drivers we're familiar with in new places. I'll take Noah Gragson here, who's now driving the number 4 for Front Row Motorsports, and I just think this is a pretty good spot for Noah to be in. I'm wondering if now that McDowell's gone, if he just becomes the guy. Like I don't know if they elevate Gilliland to that level, or I know Front Row, really loves Zane, but Zane just has not shown much in this car at all when given opportunities. Noah has flashed from time to time. He had a great stretch last year of finishing top 10 or near top 10 for SHR. So give me Gragson. I think he can be consistent enough in this Front Row Ford and really have a decent season. Um, and because I can't really decide between the two, I'll take his teammate too, Todd Gilliland. So I'll go back to back Gragson, Gilliland, Front Row guys for my next 2 picks here. This will be the first pick of round 8. I don't have much, hard hitting facts here for Todd Gilliland. Great qualifier on drafting tracks. So you just wonder who's going to get that McDowell set up. Is it going to be Zane? Is it going to be Gragson? Who? Earlier today, actually, we noticed Caesars had posted the qualifying odds up there. They've already been up for a while, and they were pretty cooked. And for some reason today, we look at the qualifying odds, and Gragson is 60 to 1. So we took that. Zane was 30 to 1, took that. Gilliland was 30 to 1, took that. And there were quite a few guys. Like Cindric, I think, was 25 or 30 to 1 at one point. Quite a few numbers that made no sense. They clearly made some mistakes posting these things back on Caesar. So I don't know, just a fun little thing there. If you wanted to go see, maybe they'll make another mistake, or you can catch, someone you like at a crazy line. But Yeah, give me Gregson, Gillen, back-to-back front row. So now we got round 8, smack in the middle. Phil, your pick.
Oh, the first muted incident
First of
here of the
2025.
season.
I've been
Oh, good.
coughing. I've been coughing, so I'm trying to avoid that getting on the show. But yeah, I could take a swing. Not gonna do it. Ryan has me kind of in this mindset of this like mush of drivers here. I'm gonna go with Michael McDowell, and just kind of hope and pray that this weird move that he's making to Spire. I don't quite understand why he would leave where he was to go to Spire and drive the 71, but we'll see. So I'll take a swing with him. This new face, new place kind of deal. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of a mushy area right now with these drivers.
Yeah, it's getting rough. There's still a couple things like I'm just curious. There's 2 teams in particular. I'm just curious to see what you guys do with. So let's go, Tino. You're going to be back to back here. Last pick of round 8, first pick of round 9.
All right. Good to know. I'm sticking with Spire, and the driver that I believe is going to outperform Michael McDowell in Phil's pick, that's going to be Justin Haley. I loved what I saw out of him. He literally got a promotion last year, got traded, which we don't see that often, to that team. He's been there before, but that was many, many years ago. Not even the same type of organization it is now. I think the familiarity of it for him, but also just the better equipment with how well he performed. Yeah, Big Ross saying in the chat, did not expect Haley to be the last Spire driver taken. I do respect Hocevar and what he was doing last year. We don't know how his aggression levels are going to be like. Ronnie Childers, like he said as well, that's a big factor in my mind. Justin Haley, that can make up for my SVG pick. Let me know, Big Ross. Does that kind of help me out a little bit? But so Justin Haley's going to be my pick there. And then to follow him up, I'm looking at these guys on the board. We've mentioned it. There's some names out there that I don't even want to touch. But I'm torn between 2 drivers right now. And this one's going to be tough because I don't have that much faith in either of them. But the one I'm going to be going with is Ryan Preece in the 60 car. I don't really know how much they're going to do with that team. It's a new team, the 3rd driver there over at RFK, but with where we're at in the rounds, I'm going to have to go with Priest. He is a good short track racer. I think that's where I can kind of hang my hat on there for Priest. So Haley and Priest for me.
I like it. It's another unknown, going as the 3rd RFK car this year. So I mean, it could go either way. There are some people out there who really like Priest, and there's some people out there that think he's total trash. And I'm probably somewhere in between. I like to target him on the tracks where I think he can do well. So the problem is like those tracks haven't really been where Brad or Busher have been crushing it. So it's tough thing to know. Yeah, good job. I think what are we at? Phil, you are middle, the 2nd pick of round 9. Let's hit it.
Yeah, no, it's the first time I feel like I fucked up taking McDowell instead of Justin Haley. That was a great pick. Good sneak there for him. Could go a few different directions with this one. I'm gonna land with something that could backfire big time. I mean, this could end up being the next like legacy situation, Legacy Motorsports. But I'm going to go with Cole Custer and the Haas factory team. We were just talking about it in the chat. I'm pretty sure I did see that the 4 teams pit crew was going to be their pit crew. They were very good last year. Cole Custer, to me, it was Cole Custer versus another name that I'm not going to mention in case he comes back to me. But, he's been in Cup, and now Haas has just one team to focus on. We'll see. I don't know what to expect here, but his past experience, just having reps in the Cup Series, matter to me a little bit more than some of these other names down towards this bottom of the list. So mark me down for Custer in the 9th round.
I like that. I mean, it's another one we don't know. I mean, we've seen him in the Cup Series before, but we haven't seen this team in the Cup Series before, so we'll see what they bring. All right, I'll finish out round 9 here and then head right into round 10. So I might do something that I will regret as well. I'll stick with this thing. I'll go with Josh Berry in the Wood Brothers car. And that's just really thinking like not that Wood Brothers is super competitive because they just haven't been at all, but more so like the talent level of the driver. I like Josh Berry much more. And even Harrison Burton found his way to a win last year. So I don't know. I mean, this is a definite step backwards, I think, for Josh Berry. I think that's, the general consensus here. We know that Stuart Haas was much more competitive than the Wood Brothers. But at one point in time, the Wood Brothers were pretty competitive. I mean, they put out a car that, we would bet on from time to time. We'd play DFS and feel okay rostering. So I don't know, man. I think Barry could find much better finishes than Harry did. So give me him, and then I'm going to go back to someone I think can win. We're this far down the list. We're going to start round 10 here, and I'm going to draft a driver I think can win a race legitimately, and that's all those road courses you mentioned. So I'm going to take AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah,
Dinger
that's
is
a good
not.
one.
He's not necessarily dead on a lot of the other tracks too. Like he's a decent drafter. Some of these like short bank tracks he does well at. So I don't think this team's totally dead. I love the fact that SVG will no longer be coming in and taking, a top tier call car, if you can call any of them that, for a road course or anything. I think, full on, they get to these races, they're focusing on AJ, not on Ty Dillon. So give me AJ Allmendinger here. I think in round 10, you can get a driver who could legitimately win a race. That's what I'm going to take here. And hopefully, he has a couple spike weeks that really boost this pick for me.
I love that pick. I love the reasoning. Down this deep, who can get a win? I'm searching right now to see if AJ has any lines on him this year. He does. He's plus 120 to win a race, just one race. So that's something that I could get behind probably. I like the pick of AJ this deep.
That's not bad. I do like how, no SVG noise at all. So just him, they go into a race, you get that car right. So, we've seen him do it.
In terms of points too, he's consistent. Like he can rattle out top 15, top 20, take care of the equipment. I think with his experience level, that's a big get in this type of round.
2023 coming into that season, I took a future on AJ because I was like, if he wins a race, he's locked in the playoffs. That crazy number that you're going to get at whatever it was plus 10,000 is going to disappear. And he just had a terrible year. And I don't know what it was, if it was the team getting in his own way, whatever. I'm hoping that doesn't happen to him this time around. So
yeah, I know Greg
I'm
had
a
a
fan.
bet with someone on X last year that was like, it was like a shitbox bet, total shitbox bet. It was Colleague versus Rick Ware, like as a team type bet. And they were neck and neck the entire season, which is just, I mean, how embarrassing for Colleague, a team that like you actually uses the hashtag, trophy hunting or whatever. It's like, dude, you guys are bottom of the barrel, but hopefully that does change. We'll see.
Yeah. I will kind of keep that same mentality that you have with ability to win a race. And I'll take a guy who has 6 chances, and it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The 6 super speedways or 4 and the 2 minor super speedways. Give me Ricky in the 10th round. Maybe he'll luck into a top 3 at Vegas, like randomly, and or Bristol or something, and I'll be happy. So as long as he avoids the monster amount of DNFs, then I think I'll be okay with the 10th round pick on him.
Love it. That's awesome. I love watching Ricky on a drafting track. It's just fun stuff. I think I hit the winner this year in the 500 and in 23 or 22 in the 500 with Cindric. And it's like the only time I didn't bet Stenhouse on a super speedway ever was when he won Daytona. Just complete dagger to the heart because I always root for him. It's brutal. All right, Tino, we got you. Last pick of round 10 and take us into round 11.
All right. So, yeah, that was a good Ricky Stenhouse Jr. pick. That's who I was feeling. And when I'm looking at the rest of these guys on the board, to me, even though the equipment scares me or the drivers themselves scare me from what they did last season. I mean, Austin Dillon's left on the board. I've bet on him countless. Phil and I, that's like we bonded over Austin Dillon top 10 bets that didn't hit. So he will not be, I'm not taking him. Don't worry. Who I'm going to go with is going to be Eric Jones first off. I think to me, Legacy Motor Club did terrible last year. We know that they did not perform well at all, but out of the drivers remaining, to me, he's the best remaining driver. He can go out and get a surprising top 10 finish. He can manage the equipment better than other drivers that are left on this list here, at least. And, if Darlington comes around, he might have a shot to win it, just like he has in a couple of years. So give me Eric Jones there. And to follow it up, damn, I guess I just did say I wasn't going to pick Austin Dillon, but to me, I'm torn between him and everyone else left on the list. I'm going to have to go with Give me Austin Dillon. Put him on the list. Give me Austin Dillon. After I said I wasn't gonna do it, I think that's why I'm gonna throw out the guy that I was deciding between, since we're already down here around 10, 11. It was gonna be Austin Dillon or Riley Herbst for me. I know Zane Smith's still on the board, so he was another option. But Herbst in that 2311 equipment is a driver I wanted to take a chance on, but I'm hoping Austin Dillon, maybe this is the year he turned things around for us. So maybe this is some good juju for the 3-car.
I like it. Your team's looking strong, man, top to bottom. The only questionable one's SVG, but hey, man, if he goes out there and wins 2 races, then you're looking pretty good. So
he hits
he's
his
my
quota,
road course warrior.
You're Gucci.
Yeah.
It's a good squad. Up top, you're very strong. We'll break this down. I'll put a visual up and we'll post it for everyone. It'll be fun. All right, Phil, your middle pick here, second pick in round 11. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going with Riley Herbst. It was between Dillon and Herbst for me, and Tino made it easy for me. So I'll take the scraps once again. Moving to they keep saying moving to a third car is not that hard, so we'll see. Riley Herbst, I think, has just been foaming at the mouth for an opportunity. Here it is. Something completely irrelevant to this conversation. 2311 has like such a great situation with their numbers. They've got the 45, they've got the 23, and then they go with number 35. Like, what a dog shit number. So off brand. It's just disgusting. So I mean, I'm like grossed out.
It's a mixture of the 3 and the 5. Like
who is this? Mike Richter? Like, it's a goalie number in hockey. Like, it's a dog shit number. So anyway, very let down by their choice there, but excited for Riley Herbst to finally get an opportunity. We'll see what he can do. I mean, 2311's proven they're a factor. He's not going to be putting up points like Bubba. He's definitely going to be the third car, but when you're looking at Riley Herbst versus some of this other trash that's at the bottom of this barrel here, I don't mind it. I think he's got an upside. This unknown element to him has an upside. Is he going to be like John Hunter Nemechek? Maybe. But, at least it's like a lottery ticket. I don't know what I'm getting. Maybe there's something there. So I'll go with Herbst in the 11th round.
I love it. I mean, you look at the teams that are left here, 2311 is definitely top tier compared to what's left here to pick from. So I'll go with Zane Smith. I mean, it's getting kind of easy now. There's only 4 drivers left, but I'll take Zane Smith, front row. Definitely like that over what's left on the board with, the second call-in car and the only Rick Ware car that you have now, Cody. And we've seen plenty of Cody in his career outside of a drafting track and lucky finish. No, thank you. Zane, a reunion here back with front row. I don't know if perhaps the relationship he has with that team, they just give him kind of the same juice McDowell had, which wasn't horrible, wasn't great, but there were some tracks where, he could shine. He had a great road course run for a while. We talked about the qualifying on drafting tracks, so at least he's running up near the front. I know that doesn't always end well, especially for him, but it has in the past because he has won. So who knows? I'll take Zane here. We don't need much, I guess, analysis on these picks. And then I'll just take John Hunter just because, again, I'd rather have a legacy car and hope that perhaps they get some more tier 1 Toyota racing development info this year I believe like toward the end of last year. I mean, it didn't really help them then, but they fired somebody within the organization. And I think I read something like that person said no originally when they were asked to receive more info from TRD, which would make no sense at all because why would you just not want to be faster? So hopefully this team turns it around. I do. I don't think like you took Eric Jones. I thought was an easy pick when you took him, just the most talented driver on the board at that point. And then John Hunter here for me. I mean, it's between him, Ty Dillon, and Cody Ware. So I'm taking JHN all day there. So all right, guys. Phil, you pick next. Tino, you close it out. You guys can fist fight over Ty Dillon and Cody Ware. I'm just gonna put on mute and watch you guys battle.
Well, I'll just say I really like the John Hunter pick. I forgot that you had an extra pick, and I was about to take him, and I was looking at his stats. I mean, he was better than Eric Jones last year, for what it's worth.
Wow.
So I like him in the last round. It's a great way to round out your team. Shout out to Chris from the Flag Hunting Podcast. If I didn't take Ty Dillon in this, and he's watching this, he would send me a text message. Ty Dillon, I am a sucker for betting Ty Dillon at super speedways, specifically Talladega, Daytona. What am I doing? So yeah, I'll take Ty Dillon. Cody Ware, you can keep him. Tino.
I did not want him.
Great job with your college football picks. You get Cody Ware.
Yeah, for real. Winning that bet hurt me. The only driver I literally did not want was Cody Ware, and my winning the first overall pick, like you just mentioned, rewarded me with that essentially. There's nothing good I can say about this driver. So that's pretty much it. I'm glad to have the best team, I would say. So hopefully that doesn't hurt me when he's finishing last every single week. But overall, I'm happy with my performance in the draft. I think you guys put together some good picks as well. And now I'm excited to recap it here, talk a little bit further. Cody Ware, that's just a tough one. Maybe when Corey LaJoy fills in for him, maybe replaces him in his spot this year, just throwing out random hypotheticals, that could help me out. But overall, I'm not happy with Cody Ware at all on my team.
Yeah, I complimented that start earlier, and then you had to end Austin Dillon, Cody Ware. So might be the two most hated drivers in NASCAR. But yeah, dude, this was fun. Thank you guys. I think this was a great way to kick off the year. For everyone listening, got to hear us talk a little bit, about all 36 full-time drivers in the Cup Series. It wasn't, like we're diving into all the stats like crazy. I think, once the season's going and we see how they're racing and we have more info and things like that, maybe we get a little more in depth. But again, I don't want this show to be some crazy in-depth thing. I want it to be fun. So I had a blast. You guys crushed it. I'll make a visual. I'll put this out for everybody to see. I'd like everyone to interact with it. Go to the tweet. It'll be on mine, which is Ryan Stevens, WTR on X. And just, comment who has the best team. Let us know. I'll post it. Maybe give away some free swag to whoever, has the best explanation as to why someone has the best team. We'll figure out something fun to do with it. But yeah, I'm Ryan Stevens with wintherace.info. Bill, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, no, this was a blast, and I appreciate you getting us going here, Ryan, this year. I'm excited to win some races here against you guys. I'm digging my team, but you could find me on Instagram and X at Full Tank Phil. Give me a look at the Full Tank with Phil podcast every week for the Cup Series, and I've got some things kind of circulating in my mind about the Truck Series this year. Potentially maybe using my YouTube a little bit more this season, since I kind of leave that out to die. So might use the YouTube for some trucks, and you can find me at Full Tank with Phil podcast on YouTube there this year. So hopefully we get that going. So excited for this year, man. This is going to be really fun. And just having this conversation has me, going a mile a minute right now in my head. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, well, maybe we'll sneak another episode in before Daytona. We'll see. I think it's just, waiting a month is going to just kill us all. So, Tino, thanks, man. Again, love it. Love everything that you said tonight. Where can everyone find your stuff?
You guys can find me at Tino PATTIGNO across all social media. Yeah, and I'm super excited to be a part of the show, talk with you guys every week throughout the season. Similar to how we did last year, but with these added elements now, the draft, our season long teams, our weekly teams, and everything like that. I'm looking forward to doing that and building on my team. I think we got a lot of good mojo coming on for this season. For other projects I'm working on, stay tuned on the social media for that. On everything. I will be back on NASCAR Sirius XM radio, so I'm excited for that. You can hear me on there when the season gets going about some NASCAR betting analysis and so forth. For other stuff, stay tuned. As I mentioned, I'll be putting out some info and content in the coming weeks about that as we get going. I'm excited for this NASCAR season, excited for my team, and thinking about what diecast to put behind me here in the backdrop that I win from you guys. So I appreciate you having me, Ryan, Phil. It's always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to continuing drafting with you guys all year long.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Thank you both. Appreciate it. Thank everyone for listening. You guys are great. Again, this will be out in audio form everywhere, either tonight or tomorrow. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon, perhaps before Daytona. If not, the Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern before Daytona, we will be live, and we will be live every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. for all 36 Cup points races. So thank you again for watching the draft.